Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Ask the Expert. And I am really excited. We have quite an expert here today. And I want to make sure that I let you know that, it's great that you watch the videos and it's great that you show up to do that. But what we really want for you is for you to connect with our experts, as well as Teresa and I, of course. But we also want to invite you to right below this video. If we didn't touch on something, or maybe we did, and you have a question, just type your questions below, and our guest will be more than happy to come back and answer them for you. So make sure you write down your questions. We want to make sure you get them answered. Make sure you implement a few of the takeaways that she is going to share, and you make sure that you connect, because taking action is what it's really all about today, right? So Teresa is going to tell you a little bit about our guest, and then we'll jump right in.
Thank you, Patty. Today we are talking about finding those hidden gold nuggets in your business with Laurabeth Messimer. Laurabeth is the Regional Director of RPM Group. The RPM team works with clients on a national level to identify financial enhancement opportunities. In the past 24 months, RPM teams have identified over $300 million in federal, state, and local incentives for their clients. These programs are not loans or grants, and therefore are not repayable or restricted funds. RPM's goal is to not add more to your to-do list, thank goodness, but to do the heavy lifting for you. So let's get ready to dive into some amazing opportunities for you and your business. Welcome, Laurabeth.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Oh, I'm excited. That was quite the intro. And boy, if that didn't leave me and Teresa and our guests just waiting for more, I don't know what would have. So let's just dive right in. So Laurabeth, what would you say is the number one thing that differentiates you from anyone else in your industry? Now, I got to tell you, Teresa touched on some of those opportunities that I'm thinking not everybody can do, but what would you say is the number one thing that differentiates you?
I think off the top of my head, the number one thing is that we don't ask for any funds up front. We work, the compliance team and our CPA group that we're partnered with, we work together to investigate and to identify the funds that are due to businesses. And then we are not paid until that business has money in their hand. So in other words, we do everything on our nickel. And if it doesn't work out, then it's been another experience for us. And if it does work out, then we'll get paid with that. So in essence, money doesn't come out of the business owner, doesn't have to write us a check up front. And many in this industry will require that real hefty down payment ahead of time. Yes. And we're about the people, we're about helping businesses add to their bottom line, not to take away from their bottom line. And we are not asking for that up front. We'll patiently wait, and sometimes the IRS takes months to process the paperwork that goes through, and that's okay. That's just our policy, is to wait patiently until the money comes through, so that the business owner can have it in their hand first.
I love that, because I kind of feel like that's a true partner, right? You don't get the money, do I get the money? I mean, that's right. What I like in a partner.
That's exactly what it is. And so that's just been our policy, and we live by it, and it's been real successful for us.
Wow, that is amazing. So it's just contingent upon the client getting paid. There's no risk. It's absolutely
zero risk, absolutely zero risk. You're right, Teresa. And there are times when we go in and we find that they have received all their funds, all their ERTCs, which are retention credits, and all that stuff has already been received, which is awesome. All it does is validate for them that they have everything that is due to them.
Is that something that's ongoing that you would do every couple of years for the same client, or is it a one-time kind of thing?
Well, there are several programs. Some are annual and some are one time. The one right now that's kind of got a deadline on it is the employee retention tax credits, and this is connected to COVID. And so the actual sunset has happened already. but the IRS is giving businesses a 3-year window to get their paperwork in. So, but it's 3 years from the time that they would have originally, their taxes would have been due. So, and once that's done, it's done. There's no turning back.
Yes,
Back and
they
get
give
it.
you a lot of leeway though, so that's good.
A lot of leeway, but part of it is because it's taking a long time for the IRS to process all those claims, all that paperwork. So they don't want to cut it short for businesses. They want to give them plenty of time, simply because there is so much there's so many businesses that waited until the last minute, and now there's this deluge of paperwork going through. That's okay.
Does it
We all do
seem-
that. We all procrastinate to the end. That's
Don't
okay.
we all?
Yeah.
Does it seem like some of these programs that you are doing for people, that certain industries benefit more than say others? Can you tell us like 2 or 3 industries that it seems like really are a benefit? Because, you know, a lot of times there's a lot of programs out there, but they're not for everybody, right?
Yes.
Right.
But, you know, so what are 3, 5, you know, just what are some industries that really, really benefit from
Good
this
question.
program?
Well,
Thanks.
we have found that all industries and benefit to some degree. Right now, the hospitality industry, the restaurant industry, and manufacturing were really hit hard. And so those are the biggest returns that we're seeing, but we're also seeing returns for little specialty shops and little mom and pop restaurants and that sort of thing. So it really does, there's a gambit of industries that we work with all of them. Anyone that has a W-2 employee, we can help you.
So you can help someone, whether they're local or national? They don't have.
Absolutely. We have clients all over the country, yes. And it's mostly done by word of mouth. So for example, if a hardware store is here and they have another hardware store in Oregon or Utah or Illinois, wherever, it doesn't matter where we are because they're federal taxes, they're federal programs that we deal with. So we can, anywhere within the federal jurisdiction is where we can help people.
That's good to know.
That
Yeah.
is good to know. Well, that leads into my question. So what is the number one question you get asked the most by your clients or prospective clients?
We ask if it's for real. Does this really work? I think that I wasn't impacted and I found that, and that's, let me backstep. The answer to your question is, will this work for me? Is this for real? Because they feel that the businesses feel that they have not been impacted. But when we go in and when we hand it off to our compliance team and our CPA, for example, there's a labor contractor in the Central Valley who said that he knew that he was not, that he didn't qualify. He felt that his attorney or his CPAs and everyone had done the job that they were supposed to do, and they had to a point. And we went in and we investigated, we sent it to compliance team, and they got a check back for about $7 million. So people that people don't qualify, think they don't qualify, definitely do qualify.
Yes, you're like a specialist. So your CPA is more like your general practitioner, and then you're like the special doctor that comes in and takes care of that.
Right. Well, our compliance team has been doing this for about 30 years. And we understand that CPAs do a hell of a great job. They're so wonderful, but their job is to keep their client on the right side of the IRS, not to dig deep to find out what incentives and credits are due to them. And their plates are very full. So we step in and we work side by side with all of the trusted team that businesses have in place. In fact, they all can be on the discovery calls. They all can access the CPA to ask, specific and direct questions. I personally stay out of that part of it because there's a lot of private information that goes back and forth. And so I will do a discovery call. I will do the introduction. I will make sure all the paperwork and stuff is in. And then I step back and let our compliance team and CPA do the work.
I really think that is so interesting. So going back to the question that I asked a few minutes ago, where I said, are there certain industries that really benefit? I kind of want to add to that question, kind of like part B, and say, are there certain industries that refer you business more than others, right? That are in front of the people that you really can benefit. And so maybe they don't realize that they can help someone, that they're right in front of them. And
Right.
sometimes you just don't know that's out there. So like, what industries are those, like, that over and over and over and over again, they're in front of the people who can be benefited from this?
We find that doctors' offices and dentist offices, medical groups in general, don't realize that there's a lot of money in their business, and they're very surprised when we're able to find that money for them. And the money, like Teresa said earlier, is not earmarked for anything. It doesn't have to go back in the business. It doesn't have to go anywhere. It's their funds to do with what they want to do with. In fact, going back to that the labor contractor in the valley, after he received his money, we got a call from him, and he was like a kid in a candy store. He said, "You're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. I am driving my dream right now." And what he meant was that since he was a kid, he had wanted a big monster RV. And so he was able to, with part of those funds, he was able to purchase his RV. And so, it's about the people. So with regards to industry, I would say that the ones who really don't think that they've got anything going for them are medical groups, home cares, like residential home cares, that sort of thing. There's a lot of hidden money in those that we find. So these little industries, restaurants, we know are impacted, and so we're in fact, there's one Mexican restaurant that we were able to find enough money, they were going to have to close down. And we were able to find enough money that they were able to keep it open. And this was a fourth generation that was running it. And they called and they were crying. And I'm going to start tearing up because we were able to help them save that business. And it's an amazing feeling to be able to say, here you go, have fun, just.
Oh my gosh, that kind of chokes me up.
Yes.
I think that is absolutely amazing. So it kind of leads into really my next question, which is almost kind of a funny question considering, which is, what do you love the most about your business?
Oh my gosh, it was just that. It's the feedback that we get from people who are able to maintain and keep it going and not have to worry anymore about whether or not they're going to lose their business or whether they can pay their employees, or there's a myriad of things that they do with the funds that they get back. And all of that feedback just really warms my heart that we were able to do that for them. We're all in people business, right? No matter what we do, it's a people business.
Absolutely.
And that's what
this takes service all to the next level though, doesn't it, Teresa?
Really, I am so excited. I want to get started.
I know, right? That's kind of really, So over to you, Teresa.
Yes. What industry that maybe you haven't mentioned that we could introduce you to that could maybe be a game changer in the next 30 days?
Pardon the car going by. I don't know if you heard that, and I was really loud.
No.
I think the agricultural business hasn't been, personally, I haven't been able to talk to anyone there. And I think that with all their transient employees and that sort of thing, that I think that they would really qualify. I think they would do really well.
Yes.
Yeah. The other thing that, and kind of going back to your question, Patty, is that churches don't realize that there's a lot of money in there too. We've been able to help a lot of churches. So,
wow.
Let's see, what other manufacturing, it's hard to pinpoint because everyone benefits. And so it's really hard to pinpoint which industry is more important than another because let's say a lab that does blood work and that sort of thing, they're as important to them as the restaurant owner's business is important to them. And so we don't prioritize that way. We just, whoever comes on board, we'll run them through the process and see what we can find for them.
Have you worked with private schools at all?
We have worked with private schools, and yes, they too they qualify.
Yeah.
So we've been
Well,
able
we
to-
have somebody to introduce you to in PWN. They're a PWN member, and they know a lot of the growers in the Central Valley. So,
Oh, great.
yes.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. It's just like, it's spread it around, spread the wealth around.
Yes.
And
I love this.
The thing is too, is remember that there's a deadline. I know that it's a 3-year deadline, but 3 years is going to go by fast. And so,
Yes.
we need to get as many people into that pipeline before it totally closes up, because there is no turning back. Once it's
That
done,
makes a
it's
lot
done.
of sense.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to reach you, what is the best social media platform where you're active, or where would you like our audience to connect with you?
Well, I have LinkedIn, so it's at Laurabeth Messimer's LinkedIn. My Facebook page is also Laurabeth Messimer. I'm happy I'm on that. And then, but just by email or text is fine. I regularly review all those.
Oh, so when this goes live, when you come in and see it, you can post that information in one of the comments below, and then people will be able to reach out. That would be
Perfect.
absolutely perfect.
Perfect.
I have to tell you, Laurabeth, I didn't know about this. I think this is phenomenal. My brain is trying to stay focused. So it's kind of going through like my Rolodex
Yeah.
of people. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like,
Yeah.
what a game changer this could be.
It
So
it
thank
makes
you.
me- yeah, you're very welcome. It makes me so excited to be able to do this for people, because Patty, so many don't know about it. So many don't know that there's money hiding in their business. And it kind of sounds cliche, and people will go, come on. But it really and truly is it. Their federal programs are not there. There's an ongoing federal program that helps employees reduce their FICA contribution and their workers' comp, and that's going to go on forever and ever. And so, but people don't know about it. So
That made me think of a question as we're wrapping. Is this only for brick and mortar businesses, or can people
No.
who do not have a brick and mortar business?
Anybody with a W-2, with 3 W-2 employees can do it. I don't care where your business is. It doesn't matter at all. There are some programs that are specifically designed for brick and mortar, and we can go in and do cost segregation and recalculate like the expenditures and that sort of thing. But there are programs. There's like 60 programs, and so there are some for everybody.
Well, thank you so much, Laurabeth. I mean, thank you for being a guest on the show. Thank you for sharing your zone of genius. And I have to tell you, being able to handle all that is a zone of genius for sure.
Well,
and to our audience, thank you.
Yeah, I have a team. I don't do it by myself. Yeah.
I know it always does take a team, right?
Yeah.
So to our audience, thank you so much for joining us here on Ask the Expert. We couldn't do it without you, and we appreciate you showing up week after week, right? And interacting with the guests that we love to have here for you. Thank you so much, Teresa, for being an amazing co-host with me. I appreciate you so much as well. And we have an invitation for you.
Yes, thank you, Patty, and thank you, Laurabeth. That was an amazing interview.
My
Learned
pleasure.
so much.
Thank you.
We would like to invite you to join us in our Facebook group and connect with our guest and with Patty and I, and to the other amazing women that are part of the Professional Women's Network of the Monterey Peninsula, known as PWN, and now includes members locally, nationally, and internationally too. Go to www.facebook.com/groups/PWN Monterey.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll see everybody next week. Have a phenomenal, productive, and profitable day. Bye-bye now.